What really makes someone, a good person? Or maybe not so good? Is it just what they do, their actions out in the world?
Or is it something deeper, like an inner quality?
Exactly. That's what we're diving into today, this whole idea of our inner landscape.
We're exploring this really fascinating description of what you could call becoming and unbecoming dispositions.
Yeah, the qualities that sort of lift us up or the ones that pull us down.
And we're drawing this from a pretty profound ancient text. Gives a timeless view on inner character, really.
Right. So our mission for this deep dive is to really get to grips with these basic human dispositions.
Yeah, understand what they are, why they actually matter, and maybe how this knowledge gives you a framework, a powerful one, for self-awareness and growth.
And we're aiming for practical insights, something you can use, not just theory floating around.
Definitely. Not overwhelming theory.
Okay, so let's dive right in. The first set, Daivi Sampat, these are the becoming ones, right?
That's it. The positive qualities, sometimes called divine or godlike, the ones that elevate an individual.
So what's at the top of the list?
Well, fearlessness comes up first.
Up higher.
Fearlessness, okay.
But it's interesting, it's not just like physical bravery on a battlefield, though that's a context. It's more a fundamental lack of fear. Because you understand the self, the Atman, is, well, unborn and undying.
So if the core of you can't really die, that takes away a major source of anxiety.
Precisely. It removes that deep inherent fear. Then there's purity of existence, sattva samshodhi.
Purity, what does that mean in this context? Like a clean mind?
Exactly. A pure, clear mind is the foundation for pure knowledge, for seeing beyond the sort of the body-mind stuff we usually identify with.
Like cleaning a lens to see more clearly.
You got it. And that ties into the next one. Steadfastness in knowledge in yoga. Jnana yoga yavastitya.
Steadfastness. So sticking with it. Yeah. Unwavering focus on seeking self-knowledge. That's seen as the path. It needs that clear direction that Vyavasatmika we've maybe touched on before.
The resolute intellect, right? Knowing your true north.
Exactly. It's a deep conviction. Then we have charity. Dana.
Charity, giving. That seems straightforward.
Well, yes, but it's listed as one of the 3 big purifiers for the wise.
Okay, what are the others?
Yajna, sacrifice or offering, and tapas, austerity or discipline.
Sacrifice and austerity. Are we talking grand rituals here, or?
Not necessarily. The text suggests it's the attitude that counts. Yajna could be dedicating your daily actions, even eating, as an offering, without expecting something back personally.
Offering it up to Ishwara, maybe?
That's one way to see it, yes. And tapas isn't about, harsh self-punishment. It's more inner discipline, focused effort to purify habits.
That makes sense. And self-control, Dhamma, is in there too, isn't it?
Absolutely vital. It's linked to avoiding the trap of being ruled by desires.
When desires take over, you lose your way.
Right. You need to be the charioteer guiding the senses, not pulled along by them.
And related to gaining knowledge study of the scriptures.
Svataya. Yes, Svataya. It's not just reading, but actively listening to, engaging with teachings that reveal the self, often with a teacher.
Right, engaging with the source.
Okay. What else?
Uprightness, Arjava.
Uprightness, like honesty.
Yes, but maybe broader. Alignment. Your thoughts, words, and deeds all line up. Integrity. Truthfulness, Satyam, is part of this too.
Living truthfully, that feels fundamental.
It is, and from that flows ahimsa, nonviolence.
Nonviolence, so not hurting others.
Definitely not physically harming, but it goes deeper. It's freedom from malice, actually wishing well for everyone.
Even people you don't particularly like or feel have wronged you.
Especially then, perhaps. It's about removing the intent to cause suffering in thought, word, or deed.
That's a high bar. Okay, what else is on this becoming list?
Freedom from anger.
A crow.
Anger comes up a lot, so controlling anger.
Or rather, diffusing it. Not letting that negative impulse take root and cloud your judgment. Cultivating calm.
And renunciation. Tyaga. That sounds pretty extreme.
It can sound that way, but the text often clarifies it's not necessarily about, like, leaving home and becoming a hermit, at least not initially.
So what is it about?
Often it's about renouncing the sense of being the soul doer, letting go of, I did this is mine.
Detaching from the ego's claim on actions and results.
Exactly, and releasing the grip of strong likes and dislikes. Performing actions well, but without that desperate need for a specific outcome.
That kind of detachment would certainly lead to more peace, wouldn't it?
Precisely, which leads to peacefulness, shantiya or shama, which is inner tranquility. being free from those constant reactions, the push and pull of preferences.
And how we treat others seems key here, too. Absence of fault-finding. Apahunam.
Yes, not constantly picking at others' flaws, not gossiping. It disturbs your own peace, too.
True. And instead, compassion. Dayev.
Dayabuteo. Compassion towards all beings. Being sympathetic, large-hearted, understanding the pain of others.
That connects to freedom from greed, I suppose. Alalupvam.
Yes, freedom from covetousness,
Yeah.
not being consumed by wanting what others have. Gentleness, mardavam, is also listed.
Gentleness and modesty. Free.
Right, free, a sense of propriety, not being shameless. And then there's akapalam, which is like steadfastness, absence of fickleness,
Not being flighty.
and tejas, vigor or energy. Kama,
No.
forgiveness. Dukya, fortitude.
Wow, okay. Lots of strength there, too.
And finally, absence of pride or conceit. Amanitvam, humility. Seeing accomplishments as gifts, not taking all the credit.
It's quite a list. It really paints a picture of, well, like you said, becoming godlike almost. Qualities that build a really strong, peaceful inner life.
That's the idea of Daivi Sampat, qualities to cultivate leading towards liberation and inner well-being.
Okay, so that's the bright side. Now, the flip side.
The flip side, Asuri Sampat, the unbecoming dispositions.
The qualities that drag us down, lead to suffering, the ones to watch out for.
Exactly. These are the ones the text says need to be understood and ideally eliminated for spiritual progress.
So what leads the charge here?
Hypocrisy is right up there. Damha.
Pretending to be something you're not. Lack of transparency.
Putting on a show. Saying one thing, being another. It implies impurity. Doesn't match that sattva shuddha we talked about.
Definitely not. And pride. Darpa.
Darpa. Yeah. Thinking way too highly of yourself. Feeling special. And apimana, conceit.
What was the difference, roughly?
Darpa might be more about arrogance related to status or possessions, while apimana is maybe a more ingrained, exaggerated sense of self-importance, often demanding respect because of it.
Demanding respect. That often comes from insecurity, doesn't it?
Very often, yes. A lack of genuine self-worth. Then anger, kritha, shows up again.
But here as a negative, an unbecoming trait.
Exactly. Here it's highlighted as a destructive force, an impulse that violates your own values, harms you and others.
And harshness.
Yeah.
Poriam.
Being rough, unkind, abrasive in speech or action. Insensitive.
Okay, what else?
Ignorance. Anyanam. This is a big one.
Ignorance, like not knowing facts.
Deeper than that, it's fundamental ignorance of your true nature, the avidji concept.
Misunderstanding who you really are?
Yes. Taking yourself to be just this limited, mortal, body-mind complex, that's the root delusion, moha.
And that leads to fear, suffering.
Absolutely. If you think you are the body, then death is terrifying. It fuels wrong perceptions, bad choices, clinging, all sorts of problems. The text basically sees ignorance as the root of sin, evil, anger, cruelty.
Wow. Okay, so ignorance is foundational. What else stems from it?
Attachment, saga, clinging.
To things, to people.
The actions, outcomes, possessions, people, the constantly seeking fulfillment outside yourself. It keeps your needs alive, that constant reaching.
And wanting rewards for everything you do, sakama karma.
Yes, actions done purely for personal benefit, for the fruits. The text says this leads to bondage, keeps you tangled up.
Instead of acting for the sake of the action itself, or as an offering.
Right. And remember self-control on the positive side. The lack of it is here, being controlled by the mind and desires, breaking boundaries of righteousness.
Like the runaway chariot.
Exactly. There's also a point about increasing consumption and decreasing contribution.
Getting out of balance. Taking more, giving less.
Yeah, when the focus shifts heavily onto just pleasure, taking, consuming, adharma, unrighteousness, tends to increase.
Delusion, moha, you mentioned that under ignorance.
It's closely tied. Taking what you are not to be yourself, thinking you're just this temporary package, which leads to sadness, fear.
And what about how we see ourselves? Self-rejection.
That's another unbecoming trait. Judging yourself inadequate. It fuels dissatisfaction, self-condemnation, sadness, even depression.
Instead of that inherent worth that comes from understanding the true self.
Exactly. And we circled back to it, but demanding respect listed again here as stemming from that lack of self-esteem tied to conceit.
It's a clear picture of traits that create inner turmoil and conflict.
Definitely. They're seen as major obstacles. Obstacles to peace, to growth, to authentic connection. Recognizing them, working on them, that's presented as essential.
So wrapping this up, this deep dive has really laid out these two contrasting paths, hasn't it?
Yeah, two sets of inner qualities, Daivi Sampat, the becoming traits that elevate us.
And Asuri Sampat, the unbecoming ones that, well, hinder us and cause suffering.
It's a powerful framework, really, for understanding the forces at play within us.
And hopefully, for you listening, seeking knowledge that's both quick and deep, this gives you a concise but really profound map of inner character.
How these qualities really shape your experience of reality.
I know I'm already thinking about, well, which ones feel more familiar, which ones need more attention in my own life. It sparks that self-reflection.
And that's the goal, isn't it? That awareness. It's important to remember, though, this is a journey.
Right, not an overnight fix.
Cultivating the good, lessening the not so good, it's ongoing. Awareness is just step one. Don't feel overwhelmed by the list.
Good point. So maybe a final thought to leave everyone with.
Well, if our inner state, these dispositions, truly shapes how we experience everything, what might happen if we consciously, consistently, really leaned into cultivating those Daivi Sampat qualities, not just for ourselves, but could it change how we interact? Could it change the world around us?
How cultivating the inner landscape might transform the outer one. That's definitely something to chew on.
Something to reflect on, maybe explore further in the source itself.